The inciting incident, the serene beauty of New Eden, humanity's farthest colony, belied the horror that was about to unfold. Nestled in the Orient Arm, this verdant world had been a symbol of hope and progress for Earth's expanding influence in the galaxy. For decades, the colonists had cultivated the land, built thriving communities, and dreamed of a peaceful future among the stars. On that fateful day, 12-year-old Lily Chen stood in her family's wheat field, marveling at the twin moons hanging low in the ember sky. The gentle rustle of the crops in the warm breeze was suddenly overpowered by an ominous hum. Lily looked up, her eyes widening as she saw dozens of sleek obsidian ships descending from the clouds. "Mom! Dad!" she screamed, running towards the farmhouse. But her cries were drowned out by the deafening roar of energy weapons unleashing hell upon the unsuspecting colony. The Zarkonian Empire, a ruthless alien regime that had terrorized the galaxy for centuries, had finally set its sights on humanity. New Eden was to be their first conquest, a statement to the galaxy that no species was beyond their reach. As chaos erupted across the colony, Captain Sarah Donovan of the Earth Defense Force ship Defiant received the distress call. Her vessel was the closest to New Eden, but even at maximum warp, they were hours away. "All hands, battle stations," Sarah barked, her face grim as she watched the horrifying scene unfold on the main view screen. The Zarkonian ships methodically leveled buildings, their energy beams cutting through the colony's minimal defenses like paper. Back on New Eden, Lily's parents, Michael and Wei Chen, frantically tried to reach the emergency bunker with their daughter. They ran through the burning wheat fields, the once golden stalks now ablaze, creating a hellish landscape. "We're almost there," Michael shouted, pulling Lily along as Wei covered their rear. But as they approached the bunker, a Zarkonian ground transport materialized before them, its sleek form a stark contrast to the devastation around it. 3 tall, reptilian figures emerged, their scaled skin shimmering in the firelight. The lead Zarkonian, its yellow eyes gleaming with cruel intelligence, raised a weapon. "No!" Wei screamed, throwing herself in front of her family. The energy blast struck her squarely in the chest, and she crumpled to the ground. "Mom!" Lily cried out, her voice breaking. Michael, his face contorted with grief and rage, pushed his daughter behind him. "Run, Lily, get to the bunker," he ordered, charging at the Zarkonians with nothing but his bare hands. Lily hesitated for a moment, torn between obeying her father and staying by his side. But as she saw him fall under the Zarkonians' relentless assault, survival instinct took over. She ran, tears streaming down her face, the sounds of destruction and death echoing all around her. As the Defiant raced towards New Eden, Sarah Donovan received updated intel from Earth Command. The Zarkonian attack wasn't isolated. Similar assaults were happening on other frontier worlds. Humanity was under siege. Captain, her XO, Commander John Hayes, reported, his voice tight with tension. "We're picking up thousands of distress beacons from New Eden, but they're going silent, fast." Sarah clenched her fists, willing her ship to go faster. She knew they would be too late to save everyone, but maybe, just maybe, they could rescue some survivors and gather intel on this new enemy. Hours later, as the Defiant dropped out of warp near New Eden, the crew gasped at the devastation before them. The once beautiful planet was scared with impact craters and burning forests. Debris from destroyed satellites and ships littered the orbit. "Scan for life signs," Sarah ordered, her voice barely above a whisper. "Captain, I'm only detecting a few hundred survivors." "Out of a colony of 50,000, the science officer reported, his face ashen. Sarah closed her eyes for a moment, allowing herself to feel the weight of this tragedy. When she opened them again, there was steel in her gaze. "Prepare rescue teams, and keep an eye out for any lingering enemy ships. We're not losing anyone else today." As the rescue operations began, Sarah led a team to the surface herself. They materialized in what used to be the colony's central plaza, now a hellscape of rubble and bodies. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burnt flesh. "Split up and search for survivors," Sarah commanded. "Stay alert. We don't know if all the Zarkonians have left." As they combed through the ruins, a faint sound caught Sarah's attention. She moved towards it, phaser at the ready, and found herself at the entrance of a partially collapsed bunker. The sound grew louder. It was someone crying. "Hello," Sarah called out. "This is Captain Donovan of the Earth Defense Force. If you can hear me, we're to help." The crying stopped, replaced by a timid voice. "A help, please." Sarah and her team carefully made their way into the bunker. In the farthest corner, huddled beneath a fallen beam, was a young girl. Her clothes were torn and dirty, her face streaked with tears and soot. "It's okay," Sarah said softly, kneeling beside the girl. "You're safe now. What's your name?" "Oh, Lali," the girl stammered. "Lali Chen. They killed my parents. They killed everyone." Sarah felt a lump in her throat as she gently helped Lali to her feet. "I'm so sorry, Lali. We're going to take care of you now, okay?" As they emerged from the bunker, Sarah's communicator chirped. "Captain," Hayes' voice came through. "We've intercepted a Zarkonian transmission. They're celebrating their victory, calling it the first step in humanity's eradication." Sarah looked down at Lily, then at the devastation around them. In that moment, something shifted in the universe. The Zarkonians had made a grave miscalculation. They thought this attack would break humanity's spirit. Instead, it had awakened a sleeping giant. "Send that transmission to Earth Command," Sarah said, her voice low and determined. "And tell them that the Zarkonians just made the biggest mistake in their empire's history. They wanted humanity's attention. Well, now they have it." As the rescue teams continued their grim work, Sarah stood amidst the ruins of New Eden, Lili's small hand in hers. The galaxy had lived in fear of the Zarkonian Empire for too long. But they had never faced the likes of humanity before, and now they would learn what it meant to incur the wrath of Earth. The Reign of Terror was about to meet its match. The call to arms. The aftermath of the New Eden massacre sent shockwaves through Earth and its colonies. Humanity, long focused on exploration and peaceful expansion, now faced an existential threat. In the halls of the United Earth Government in Geneva, emergency sessions ran day and night as leaders grappled with the new reality. Admiral Elena Vega stood before the United Earth Council, her weathered face grim as she delivered her report. "The Zarkonian Empire has struck 7 of our outer colonies in the past week. New Eden was just the beginning. We've lost contact with Prometheus Base in the Tau Ceti system, and our outpost on Kepler 186 is under siege." The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of angry voices and fearful murmurs. President Amelia Chen, no relation to the Chen family of New Eden, raised her hand for silence. "What are our options, Admiral?" she asked, her voice steady despite the weight of billions of lives on her shoulders. Elena's holographic display flickered to life, showing a map of known Zarkonian territory. Their empire is vast, stretching across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. They've subjugated dozens of species over the centuries. But she paused, zooming in on a sector. "We're not alone in resisting them." The display highlighted several star systems. The Arcturian Confederation, the Proxima Alliance, and the Sirius Collective have all fought the Zarkonians before. They've managed to maintain their independence, but at a great cost. I propose we reach out to them. United, we might stand a chance. As the Council debated the merits of Elena's proposal, across the solar system on Mars, a different kind of preparation was underway. In the sprawling complex of the Ares Military Academy, Captain Sarah Donovan stood before a sea of cadets, her eyes blazing with determination. "You all seen the footage from New Eden," she began, her voice carrying across the auditorium. "You've heard the stories of the other colonies. The Zarkonians think they can break us, that we'll cower in fear like so many others have before. They're wrong." She paced the stage, her gaze locking with individual cadets. "Humanity has faced extinction before. We've stared into the abyss of our own destruction and clawed our way back. The dinosaurs couldn't survive an asteroid, but we did. We've overcome plagues, world wars, and the climate crisis. And now, we face our greatest challenge yet." The cadets hung on her every word, a mix of fear and resolve on their young faces. Among them sat Lili Chen, now 15 years old. In the 3 years since New Eden, she had thrown herself into her studies, driven by a burning need to protect others from the fate that befell her family. Sarah continued, her voice rising with passion. "The Zarkonians may have advanced technology, but we have something they can never understand. We have the indomitable human spirit. We have our creativity, our adaptability, and our unwavering determination. And most importantly, we have each other." As Sarah's speech concluded, the cadets erupted in cheers and applause. Lili felt a surge of pride and purpose. She knew that her path forward would be difficult, but she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Meanwhile, in the depths of the Jovian shipyards, a new class of warship was taking shape. The UES Nemesis, humanity's first true battleship, represented the culmination of years of reverse engineering alien technology and pushing the boundaries of human innovation. Dr. Rashid Patel, the lead engineer on the project, walked through the cavernous construction bay with Admiral Vega. We've incorporated everything we've learned from studying Zarkonian weapon signatures, Isha explained. The Nemesis's shields are specifically tuned to resist their energy weapons, and our new phase cannons should be able to penetrate their defenses. Alina nodded approvingly. How soon can we have a fleet ready? Esha's expression turned grim. The Nemesis will be operational in 3 months, but to build enough ships to make a difference, we're looking at a year, maybe more. We don't have a year, Alina muttered. The Zarkonians won't wait that long to press their advantage. As if to underscore her point, an aide rushed up to them, his face pale. Admiral, we just received word. The Zarkonians have launched a major offensive in the Orion Arm. They've overrun the Arcturian defense fleet and are pushing towards the core worlds. Alina's jaw clenched. Give me a secure line to the Arcturian High Command, and contact the Proxima Alliance and the Sirius Collective. It's time we formalize this alliance. Within hours, holographic representatives from the 3 alien powers stood before the United Earth Council. Arcturian Chancellor Zira, her crystalline form shimmering, spoke first. We have long respected humanity's potential, but feared your rapid expansion. Now, we see that you may be the galaxy's last hope against the Zarkonian threat. Caxilith, the insectoid leader of the Proxima Alliance, chittered in agreement. Our species have had our differences, but in the face of annihilation, we must stand together. The Syrian emissary, a being of pure energy, contained within a humanoid form, added, we offer our advanced shielding technology and star charts of Zarkonian space. Together, we may yet turn the tide. President Chen stood, her expression solemn but determined. On behalf of humanity and Earth, we accept your alliance with gratitude and resolve. Let this day mark the beginning of a new era, one where the free peoples of the galaxy unite against tyranny. As the council chamber erupted in applause, Alina turned to Aisha. Doctor, it looks like we need to accelerate our production schedule. How quickly can you adapt the Nemesis design to incorporate our new allies' technology? Aisha's mind was already racing with possibilities. Give me a week with their engineers, and we'll create something the Zarkonians have never seen before. Across the solar system, humanity mobilized on a scale never before seen in its history. Shipyards worked around the clock, weapons factories sprang up on every viable asteroid, and millions volunteered for military service. The Zarkonians had awakened a sleeping giant, and now the galaxy would witness the full extent of human determination. On Mars, Lily Chen and her fellow cadets graduated ahead of schedule, prepared to take their places in Earth's burgeoning fleet. As she donned her officer's uniform for the first time, Lily thought of her parents and the peaceful life they had hoped to build on New Eden. She silently vowed to honor their memory by ensuring that no other family would suffer the same fate. The call to arms had been sounded, and humanity answered with a resounding roar that echoed across the stars. The Zarkonian Empire had ruled through fear for centuries, but they were about to learn a harsh lesson. When pushed to the brink, humans don't cower. They fight back with everything they have.
This way, he exclaimed, leading them off the main path toward a narrow trail obscured by thick vines and foliage. As they moved cautiously through the underbrush, Zephyr felt a renewed sense of purpose swell within him. They were not just searching for survivors, they were forging connections between worlds, an opportunity for understanding and cooperation. Suddenly, Jonathan stopped abruptly. Listen, he whispered urgently. From somewhere nearby came faint voices, human voices. They're here, Lyra exclaimed excitedly as she strained to hear better. Jonathan led them toward the sound until they reached a clearing where several humans were gathered around what appeared to be makeshift shelters built from natural materials and debris. A daring rescue. But their relief was short-lived as they noticed armed figures patrolling the perimeter, hostile aliens guarding their newfound companions. We can't just charge in there, Zephyr whispered urgently. We need a plan. Jonathan nodded thoughtfully as he surveyed the scene. I have some tools that could help us create a distraction. Lyra looked at him with determination in her eyes. Let's do it. Jonathan quickly rummaged through his satchel and produced several small devices that looked like glowing orbs. These will create noise and light, enough to draw their attention away from us. Zephyr took one of the orbs and nodded resolutely. All right then, on my signal. They positioned themselves behind some bushes at the edge of the clearing, while Jonathan prepared one of his devices. 3, 2, 1. Zephyr counted down before Jonathan launched one of the orbs into the air. It exploded in a dazzling array of colors and sounds on the opposite side of the clearing, causing chaos among the guards as they turned to investigate. "Now," Lyra shouted as they dashed toward their fellow humans. The group was startled by their sudden appearance, but quickly regained composure when they realized who had come for them. "Zephyr, Lyra," one of them exclaimed, a familiar face from their colony named Marcus. "We're here to rescue you," Zephyr shouted over the commotion as they ushered everyone away from danger. But just as they thought they might escape unscathed, one of the guards spotted them and raised an alarm. "The chase begins. Run," Jonathan yelled as he led them back into the woods with Zephyr and Lyra close behind. Adrenaline surged through their veins as they sprinted through dense underbrush, while shouts echoed behind them, pursuers hot on their trail. Lyra glanced back briefly to see several figures emerging from the clearing. Panic surged within her chest as she pushed herself harder to keep pace with her companions. "Keep going. Don't look back," Zephyr urged as he focused on navigating through obstacles ahead. They plunged deeper into Xylora 7's wilderness, while branches whipped against their faces and roots threatened to trip them up at every turn. But determination fueled their flight. They could not afford to fail now. Finally reaching a small ravine hidden by thick foliage, Jonathan signaled for everyone to stop and catch their breath while listening carefully for any signs of pursuit. "We need to regroup," Marcus panted heavily beside Zephyr as they leaned against a tree trunk for support. "We'll find safety soon," Zephyr assured him while scanning their surroundings cautiously, aware that danger could still be lurking nearby. As silence enveloped them momentarily amidst heavy breathing and racing hearts, a flicker of hope ignited within each soul present. They knew this journey was far from over. Unforeseen dangers lay ahead, but so did new possibilities for unity among worlds yet unknown. The adventure continued. Allies in unlikely places. As the echoes of their hurried escape faded into the distance, Zephyr, Lyra, Jonathan, and the rescued humans found refuge in a secluded grove surrounded by towering trees. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and blooming flowers, a stark contrast to the chaos they had just left behind. They gathered together, hearts racing but spirits lifted. "Then that's where we need to go," Zephyr said decisively. "But we'll have to be careful. The hostile aliens are likely patrolling the area." Marcus stepped forward, his brow furrowed in thought. "If we can find a way to distract them or create a diversion, it might give us the chance we need." Lyra nodded eagerly. "I can use some of Jonathan's devices to create noise while we slip past them." Jonathan smiled at her resourcefulness. "That could work. I have a few more gadgets that might help us as well." As they discussed their plan, Zephyr felt a sense of camaraderie forming among them, a bond forged through adversity and shared purpose. The journey begins. With their plan in place, they set off toward the mountains under the cover of twilight. The forest around them was alive with sounds, chirping insects and rustling leaves, but they moved cautiously, aware that danger lurked just beyond their sight. After several hours of trekking through dense foliage and rocky terrain, they reached a vantage point overlooking a valley below. The landscape was breathtaking. Bioluminescent plants glowed softly in the darkness, illuminating what appeared to be a small settlement nestled among the hills. "There it is," Jonathan exclaimed, pointing toward the settlement. "That's where we need to go." Navigating through danger. As they descended into the valley, Zephyr felt his heart race with anticipation and anxiety. They were so close to finding other survivors. He could almost taste it. "Stay low," he whispered as they approached the settlement's perimeter. They could see figures moving about. Some were human, while others were alien guards patrolling the area. Lyra activated one of Jonathan's devices, a small orb that emitted a high-pitched sound, then tossed it away from their position. The orb exploded with a burst of light and sound, drawing the attention of several guards who rushed toward it. "Now's our chance," Zephyr urged as they slipped past unnoticed. They darted into the settlement, taking cover behind makeshift structures built from natural materials and debris. Finding new allies. Once inside, they quickly realized that this place was not just a refuge. It was thriving with life. Humans and friendly aliens worked side by side, repairing equipment, tending to gardens filled with strange plants, and sharing stories around flickering fires. Look! Lyra pointed toward a group gathered near a central fire pit, where an elder human was speaking animatedly to a group of younglings. As they approached cautiously, Zephyr felt an overwhelming sense of hope wash over him. Perhaps this was what they had been searching for, a community where humans could thrive alongside their alien allies. "Excuse me," Jonathan called out as they reached the gathering. The elder turned to face them with wise eyes that sparkled in the firelight. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice deep yet welcoming. "We're explorers from Earth," Zephyr introduced himself and his companions. "We've come seeking others who might have survived." The elder